So we give you thanks, O Lord God, for being in our midst, and thank you for blessing us. And I pray that, Lord, this program, O Lord God, will end in a very successful manner, that every one of us, as the day, months, and years goes by, we will remember this program and will say, we learned, and we learned also to practice and also to impart. So we give you praise and thanks, and be with us. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Once again, it is my pleasure to welcome everyone to our venue this morning. I take this time to convey a very big and a heartiest welcome to all of you on behalf of the Nagaland Education Association. We would like to extend a very special welcome to our special guest, Professor Zavise, who will be sharing with us her valuable insights to us later. Special welcome to our respected Sir, Additional Director, Sir Zavise Rume, for sparing your valuable time with us today. Welcome in Zamkikon, and also to the students and the teaching faculty of Alder College, Kohima. And a very special thanks to all those trainees, those who are taking their training in the Diploma of School Counseling under SERT. A big welcome to the family of the Teacher Education Department from Nagaland University. We also welcome and appreciate the presence of the members of NEA, all the invitees, the well-wishers, guests, and most importantly, a very special welcome to the staff of the Directorate of School Education, the media people from the Northeast Live channel, and to the rest of the press family. A very big welcome to all of you. Once again, I welcome all of you, and I'm sure that we will be enriched by this program. Thank you.
A very happy National Education Day to you all. Chairman, Dr. Akala, respected my teacher, respected teacher, Dr. Professor Organises, my respected Additional Director, School Education, then my teacher, Dr. Rashmi, and all of you present here this morning. A very happy National Education Day to you once again. Since 2008, the Ministry of Education, Ministry of Human Resource and Development, Government of India has declared 11 November as the National Education Day to commemorate or to remember the birthday of the first Education Minister of the independent India. National Education Day is marked to acknowledge the contribution of educationists and educators for their great contributions towards human progression and civilization. Nagaland Education Association has been observing the day since its inception to honor and respect the educationists and to rededicate ourselves to the cause of humanity and education. And I take this opportunity to sincerely thank our special guest, Professor Zavise, Professor, Department of Education, Nagaland University, for happy accepting our invitation to grace this occasion, this historic occasion, despite of our heavy schedules. Professor Puno is very well known to me because she was my teacher when I was a university student. She is a renowned educationist, and we are fortunate to have educationists like her being a teacher in the presence of Dr. Professor Zavise. We are indeed privileged to have, of course she is not here, but we are privileged to have Srimati Kevileno Angami Special Education Special Secretary to the Government of Nagaland, Department of Education, and Sri Shanavas CIS Principal Director, Mr. Wanthomo Director, School Education. All these people are heading the Department of Education, and we are fortunate to have them. I hope through their leadership there will be a great social change in Nagaland through qualitative change in education. This program is being organized in collaboration with the Department of School Education, Directorate of Education, and I want to thank the department for the cooperation and the support that they have been extending to the department, to the Nagaland Education Association. And I hope this tradition of cooperation will continue to see that we work together to deliver quality education in Nagaland. Education as a process is a process, and it is a process of unending inner human transformation, and that we can't simply stop education from within the individual. It is continuing. The moment the child is conceived in the womb of the mother, the child starts learning and changing. He is learning as if he is in a university. The process of education is a natural process, and that nobody can stop. The child continues to learn many things, whether anybody is teaching him or not. He is learning. We can't stop anybody from learning. We can't stop anybody from change. If the child is stopped from learning a particular thing, then he or she will learn another thing. If a child is stopped from change, he will change to another way. Education is a continuous process of human transformation into a better person, better human beings. And it is taking place, education is taking place in the individual consciously or unconsciously. Even just now at this moment, there is lots of education taking place. Lots of education. Education must essentially become the national agenda, and the state government must continue to give its priority to education sector. Many things are learned from environments, and environment in a given community. Human beings, as we see, is a social animal. Therefore, there is always interactions, and we are inclined to social interactions. We can't sit alone. We can't stay alone. If we sit alone, then we are inclined to seek for people who are around us, and we are prone to have social interaction, and therefore social environment and community determines the role, the quality of education, and therefore we can't isolate ourselves from the society. In this context, no education system can survive without a community or communities. Because of the fact that all philosophers, educationists and inventors or discoverers who discovered or invented new things are all directly or indirectly influenced by social philosophies of a given society. And therefore, if education is deviating from the community, it will be irrelevant, outdated, and useless. We need a community-based education. And as we see, since time immemorial, Indian system of education was a community-based education. Community is the source of learning, is a original source of learning. Community is a resourceful, very resourceful in terms of manpower resources, material resources, and natural resources. Nagaland is very fortunate to have conceptualized, to be the first state in the whole world, to conceptualize communitization. Nagaland communitization of public institutions which was passed in the year 2002, was enacted by the Nagaland Legislative Assembly and received the assent of the governor on 27 March 2002. And therefore, 27 March should be observed as the communitization day in the whole world. India was given an UN award in 2008. Sri R.S. Pandey, former Chief Secretary Nagaland, received the UN award on 23rd June 2008 in New York. And I was also privileged to be invited to address the nation as a resource person in 2009 organized by the National University of Education Planning and Administration, New Delhi. Nagaland has contributed communitization to the world. Communitization of education is our heritage. It is our wealth. We work so hard for it, and now we must nurture, preserve, and promote it. The world must come to Nagaland to study communitization system of Nagaland. Communitization must earn Nagaland an international attention. Today, many research scholars from across the world, across the country, are doing researches, including PhDs, research studies in many universities. We have not yet given much things to the world other than communitization. Our leaders have worked hard and contributed. Too many Indian scholars have done too many researches on communitization today. We have found many innovations in communitization. And today, nobody can do anything in communitization in the world without the Nagaland Education Department. So we have earned the ownership of communitization. Nagaland is the trademark of communitization in the whole world. Nagaland is the owner of the communitization. There is much that the world has to learn from Nagaland. And therefore we must create a state institute of communitization education to generate or accelerate manpower resources, promote research and training so as to sustain communitization system of education in the world. We must explore centrally sponsored schemes and other international financing agencies to invest so as to enable us to translate this dream into a reality. Modern education in India, in Nagaland, has arrived in 1874. Prior to 147 years of modern education in Nagaland, there was no proper education system in the modern sense of the term. Prior to the light of the modern education, the people of Nagaland were living in a primitive life, and there was practically no iota of literacy or education in its ordinary sense of the term. Modern education in Nagaland started with the first school being established in 1874 at Molonyon Sen under Mokuchun district of Nagaland by Dr. E. W. Clark, an American Baptist Christian missionary. The present education system was inherited from the British rule in India, and therefore Naga indigenous education is missing. In the past, over 100 years ago, the school education in Nagaland was progressing so well at its own pace. The state government has been doing so well in the education sector. However, despite of this success, there are many loopholes and challenges.
Actually, I'm not supposed to be here in the program. My PD is supposed to be. But because of his official work, he's out of station, he could not make it. So he rang me up to take on his behalf. Unfortunately, my director also out, so I had no option, I have to deliver. Anyway, that's not a problem. Some of us will have to take up the job. So I'll stand here on behalf of my principal director, bringing you one greetings to all of you who are present here today. While observing this National Education Day today, I do hope that by observing this, all of us will have introspections where we are heading to. I think after having this program, observing this program, when we go back, I do hope that we'll have to go extra mile because there are rooms where we can improve. Well, combined by special greetings, one greetings to you. I also feel I would be failing on my part if I don't say or point out a few of my thoughts. How the trend we are following in our state, especially. You know, when we look into the literacy percentage in our state, I think if not mistaken, it is about 80 plus, if not 80 plus, around 80, 70 plus. But very often we heard corruption. We heard biasness. The values, like human values, the moral values are eroded day after day, years after years. Therefore, I just wanted to bring out this point, because I feel this is the platform where we need to deliberate on, to ponder upon that. That is, do our education system be followed? Do we educators are imparting education which is making our people, our children to become corrupt? Our education system, education is supposed to make a people perfect, honest, civilized. But as of now, certainly when we look into our state, there is corruption, there is nepotism, there is egoism, there is tribalism, there is self-centered. Our education is leading to this. let us ponder upon this point. And if there needs necessary, I think we need to review. Because it is we, education. We are making our children, our generation. The progress depends on the educator, the educationists. Therefore, our syllabus, our curriculum is really fitting to our children, our people. I wanted to let all of us ponder upon this point. I think this is very important. We are well educated. Our people, out of 180, more than 80 are educated. But we see in our state now, there is bias, there is no system at all. Therefore, if need be, I think we need to review our curriculum. Because in the formative stage, sadly, in our state, the education department is looking after from class 1 to 12, officially. Nursery, pre-nursery, nursery, AB, it should be looking after by the social welfare department. We are very fortunate to have a scheme, Angawadi we call it. The Angawadi workers, the helpers, they are supposed to be educated. They are supposed to teach, to impart numerical ABCD to our children. But now, as of now, our children study coming to government school, they directly enter into class 1 without knowing anything. So at the end of the day, the Department of School Education is bearing the brunt. Because by the time they reach class 1, they have to start reading sentences. Whereas they do not know ABCD numerical. That is the reason that is creeping the department for so long. I think we need to ponder upon this and then to converge all those. I think the right platform I think we have now. I think this point we need to pressurize the government, the policy maker, because it is the policy maker. We are executive. Therefore, I think we need to put the issues to the policy maker and then we have to review the system. Otherwise, we are heading to nowhere actually. Another point is our education system, we are too much on result oriented. Are we money oriented? That also we need to ponder upon. Book knowledge, no doubt, we are, our children, they are second to know. But that book knowledge alone wouldn't serve the purpose, wouldn't make us progress as society. As I have said, women values are eroding. Moral values are eroding day after day. I think we need to inculcate this from the beginning to our children. Otherwise, if we are continuing the trend, I think we are heading to nowhere. I think guest of honor, special guests will speak on all these issues, but then this is what I have in mind, therefore, because I also once upon a time a teacher, so I also consider myself as a teacher now. But I have seen in our society is that all are well educated, book knowledge. Because Aristotle said education is the key to unlock the golden doors. And Gandhi said, you are well aware, but Gandhi said education is for all round development, spiritually, physically, mentally. But whether we are imparting, our children are really developing all these areas or not, we have to think about it. Why are people, when they are well educated, be it technical grade, very grade, why they tend to, indulge in corruption? I think there must be something wrong with the education system. Therefore, well observing this, welcoming my greetings, I also just to provoke you with these few points. Thank you so much.
It gives me great pleasure to call upon our special guest, Professor Zavise, Professor, Department of Education, Nagaland University, someone who is considered as one of the strongest pillars in our department and also in the whole of the university. And Madam is also someone who has achieved a lot in her professional career, done a lot of contributions in the field of academics, research and publications, and even assisting various agencies in project-related activities. It is an honor for us to have with us today, ma'am, and just as a small token of appreciation, we would just like to hand you over a small token, and we request you to kindly accept it.
Respected Chairman, Dr. Akala Longkumer, respected Additional Director, Directorate of School Education, respected Dr. Zavise, President NEA, respected Mr. Inzan Kikon, Chaplain, Southern College, respected Dr. Daili Kulia, Joint Secretary, NEA, and also, of course, our lovely students of other college. It was such an uplifting song that you really refreshed us again. It was like a breath of fresh air. Thank you so much for coming today. And also, of course, the employees, the officers and staff of the Directorate of School Education, the teachers from various colleges, students from SCRT, the media, who plays a very important role in this 21st century. Thank you all for coming. And of course, I must thank the NEA for giving us such a warm reception today, and also for organizing this program, National Education Day, so that all of us could commemorate and observe this day along with the rest in the country, which is really very, very enlightening. We thank and congratulate the organization, the association for that. Now, many interesting, inspiring words of counsel and many interesting stories of great educationists have been shared already. And it is actually very, very touching to know that India has so many educationists. I may just list out a few. We had in terms of Vivekananda, in terms of Aurobindo, in terms of Rabindranath Tagore, in terms of Gandhi himself, and so many more. They have sacrificed. They have given so much of sacrifice in terms of their time, energy, and their life of commitment to education for our children. So it is the right day for us to celebrate their life and work, and not forgetting Abul Azad, in whose name we celebrate this day. We salute their contribution and their life. Now, as we celebrate their life and work, today we would also like to be upfront and straightforward to discuss the educational scenario in our state. And the Education Director has very well presented the education scenario. I may not be so detailed in that again, but I would like to share, and I would like us to step back for a moment and examine the kind of education that we have in the state. Very briefly, with the exception of a few institutions, schools, colleges, and universities, many of our educational institutions are not able to provide a well-balanced kind of education. Education is relying too heavily in favor of academic subjects, as stated by the additional director. Education is sidelining the development of values, healthy emotions and habits and attitudes and social skills. The creative thinking potentials are not sufficiently tapped in our educational institutions today. This is my observation. And someone has remarked that our education is suffering from Marxism. Might it not Marxism? Huh? We are suffering from Marxism. Marx and nothing else. We are developing the academic performance, the intellectual development of the child, perhaps. But we are sidelining the psychological, emotional, the social aspect of personality. And I think it has been rightly questioned. We need to interrogate our education system with an aim to bring about improvement in the system. Our children deserve a much better education than we are providing. Surely, you will agree with me. Education must recognize the multi-dimension of human personality. We must work towards development of an integrated personality in every boy, in every girl, in every man, in every woman. Now, but I would also like to say that all is not lost. Even as we relook into our education system, its weaknesses, the gaps, etc., we must also not lose sight of what is happening in our state today. All is not lost, and you will agree with me when I say winds of change is blowing throughout the landscape of the state. Dr. Zavise has mentioned the communitization of elementary education. With the passing of the Nagaland Communitization of Institutions and Services Act 2002, we have had this very unique case of communitization of education. Now that is very, very, it is a pride of the state, no doubt. Now with that, since the last 2 decades, we have been seeing so many schemes and programs come to our state, like the others. Starting with communitization 2002, we had the Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan in 2003, the Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan, is difficult to sometimes pronounce these words, came in 2009. The Right to Education Act 2009 came into Nagaland, got implemented in 2011 and 12. The Samagra came into the state some years later, and we are now standing at the threshold of a major milestone again. NEP, National Education Policy 2020, and how. And of course, the principal director, he is not here, but the state has just been blessed with education project, Lighthouse, sponsored by the World Bank, Nectar. It has just been launched, and it is under Sri Shanavas. Now, sometimes some people are critical about of schemes coming under World Bank, but I feel, to my observation, the nectar is in the right hand, in the hand of Shanavas. So all these things are happening to the state. I would just like to give an overview. All these things are happening. The key implementers of these flagship programs of the state and the central government, these policies, will be the bureaucrats, will be the administration in the Directorate of School Education, in the Directorate of Higher Education, Technical Education, the principals, the heads of educational institutions, the teachers and the staff. And also the community comes in here. And don't forget, students are very, very major players as well. All these things are in our hands. Are we ready? Are we prepared to implement this to the benefit of our people? That is some question that we would like to raise. For all these policies and programs to succeed, will be in our hands. See, we have a very important role to play. Now, the state of Nagaland, that is why I come to my point. My main point for today's speech would be, Nagaland, the state of Nagaland needs to develop professionalism in education. And what is professionalism? Professionalism, it is said, is not the job you do, but how you do your job. How you do the job. Sometimes We associate the concept of professionalism with big tech companies, the Reliance, the Wipros, etc. No, not only for them. Professionalism is also needed in our educational system. Okay, so professional, what does it comprise? The word professionalism. If we say professionalism is needed in our education today, what is professionalism? Let me just highlight two components of professionalism. There may be many, but these two characteristics cannot be forgotten when we are speaking about professionalism. It comprises of two very important words. One is competence, the other is commitment. Now, we need, all of us, as teachers, as administrators, as bureaucrats, as staff employees, we need to have a thorough knowledge of our subject matter. We need to have mastery over our subject matter. Know how to not only have a good grasp of our knowledge of our subject matter, but we should also know how to communicate what we know, how we deliver, so that people who are listening to us will be able to understand what we are saying. So it is not just your knowledge competence, but also your delivery. You should know how to communicate what you know. Now, we need to be proficient in the kind of work we do. In any area, at any level of the hierarchy of office structure, every one of us need to be proficient in the work that we do. And for this, the importance of the 21st century skills cannot be emphasized enough. We need to develop these skills. And I am just highlighting 3 out of so many, which is, of course, again included, highlighted in the NEP 2020. Is that okay? Now, these skills that we need to imbibe in us will be the learning skills. Learning skills. We have to nurture higher order cognitive skills like problem solving, creativity, critical thinking. We need this in the 21st century. Also, digital skills. We need to enhance our ability to use digital devices. Okay, I do not need to elaborate on that because all of us are aware of that. And of course, we need to develop soft skills. Soft skills in terms of we need to foster emotional and social skills. We need to be able to communicate effectively, good communication and positive attitude. We need to be creative. We need, therefore, to be competent. We need to continue to update our knowledge and upgrade our skills. We have to continuously do that. Otherwise, we may become obsolete. I mean, this may be a bit far too much. But I tell my colleagues in the university, in a lighter vein, lighter note, I tell them that the fans, Harry Potter fans, I hope you know what Harry Potter is. Harry Potter fans have arrived in the university, have touched the shores of our university. They have reached us, and we cannot teach, we cannot manage or handle 21st century students, boys and girls, men and women, by using 20th century or 19th century teaching techniques and approaches. Our approach to teaching, our skills need to change in order to cater to the needs and changing aspirations. Now, secondly, that is for competence. Now, we are also coming to the second component of professionalism, and that is the need to be committed in the work that we are assigned to do. First was competence, now we are talking about commitment. One major weakness in our education workforce, in any institution, be it in the offices or in the colleges, schools, universities. One major weakness in our workforce today may be said to be lack of dedication at work. Now, I hope I'm wrong, but this is what we are observing. Lack of commitment in the kind of work that you are entrusted to do. You see for yourself once, cross-check and see. I'll tell you something, you cross-check and see whether you are seeing such people in your institutions. Okay, to cross-check whether commitment level is high or low. Now we are saying, whether in your education institutions, that may be anywhere, whether you see people who come late to office and goes away early. Do you see such people? Some people don't come to office or institution without applying for leave. Some smart ones will call up and say, I'm unable to come, but not followed by a leave application. The next time round. Do you see such people? If you see such people, many such people, then we can say commitment of the workforce is low. Now, some people may be there in the offices, but excuse me for saying this, they may be there in the institution, but half the time they may be gossiping with the other fellows, colleagues, which is unethical. Using of office hours for personal private jets is unethical. I'm not saying don't speak, I'm not saying that. And during this pandemic times, actually after lockdown, we would like to share so many things with our colleagues. No? Office have just, rules have just relaxed, and so we are going back to our offices, and there are so many things to tell people and this, that. That's okay. That is fine. You must have fun in your institutions also. But to excessively use office hours for our own private works is not ethical. Now, these are just minor but serious matters that reflects commitment. Now, such unethical habits and casual attitudes is adversely affecting the quality of our education system. Is that okay? We must resolve to do a better job in life and at work. We need to look inwards, and on such a day as this, we need to look inward and see and ask ourselves some hard questions. Are we doing? Are you doing? Am I doing my best in my workplace? This is how, if you can answer these questions honestly, then you should be on your way to improvement. Now, all of us, we want to improve in life, isn't it? We want to progress. Nobody wants to stagnate in life. Do you want to be where you are today, next year, 11th November 2022? No. We would like to move forward, upward, onwards, and progress in life. So if you want to do that, you have to ask yourself certain hard questions, as I just said. Are you doing your best, to the best of your ability? Now, to close, because I've given my word to Zavise that I will be quite brief, and he told me that there are some other speakers today, so I'll be brief. But let me sort of the second point in my conclusion. Let me share what Shiv Kera has said. Some of you might have read his book. Very interesting anecdotes and very motivational characters. He's a motivational speaker. So he said there are 3 types of people in this world. Okay, 3 types of people. 1, people who make things happen. 2nd, people who watch things happen. 3rd, people who wonder what happened. These are the descriptions that we may be seeing the 2nd and the 3rd type of people in our education institutions. But we should strive to be people like the first category, that is people who make things happen. Remember, it is now our turn to carry forward the task that we have been entrusted to do in the field of education. The biggest question is, are we ready and prepared really? Let us, as I said, let us be people of the first type, people who make things happen, people who are game changers. The state of Nagaland requires a workforce in education that is competent and committed. We need professionalism in education. Can you and I be able to recommit ourselves to the task at hand, that is, to bring about improvement in our education, so that the products of our schools, colleges and universities will be the finest in the country. They will be men and women, boys and girls of integrity, men and women who are competent, committed, who will work without favor or fear, who will be courageous, and who will love the people, so as to commit themselves for the improvement of our society, our nation. Yeah? And let the products of our education institutions be able to compete with the best in the country, or even beyond. It is not so much the lack of physical infrastructure it is not also the lack of human resources that we are unable to improve and grow. But what perhaps is missing in Nagaland is the vision and the commitment to do what we need to do in order to turn around things for the better. So I think it is for us to commit ourselves on this special day to do our best in whatever field, in whatever institution that we are. So I end with this quotation from G.B. Shaw, English students. He said, "You see things as they are and ask why, but I dream of things that never were and ask why not." Can we also join G.B. Shaw today to dream of a vibrant and robust education and then work towards it? Why not? With these few words, I think I will close my address here. The NEA would like to request all of us to take a pledge at the end of the day. Nagaland Education Association, NEA, not NIA, it's NEA, on national education.
I pledge to uphold the dignity and sanctity of education as the mother of all professions. I will strive to advance the cause of education in the state. On this National Year 2021, I take this pledge to perform my duties and responsibilities to the best of my ability and to promote quality education.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Kohima.
Every individual has got the right to education that will enable him to live a full human life. Education imparted by heart can bring revolution in the society. Quotes by Maulana Abdul Kalam Azad. Let us continue to strive forward and believe that education can bring about a change in the society. It can bring about a revolution in the society and in an individual for his fullest potential and for his fullest development. And also, let us also earnestly believe that education indeed is the civilization's building block. With this, we come to the end of today's program. Thank you all once again for being with us today. It was such a pleasure to have you all. And once again, we want to wish you all a very happy National Education Day. Thank you.